Hi, my name is Emily Okowski, and today I'll be talking about why cheerleaders should be considered athletes and then some of the stereotypes that they go through, and then a little Title IX excerpt. So here's just a brief overview of the order I'll be talking about things. So first is a little bit about me. Right now I'm a fifth year chemical engineering student at the University of Cincinnati, and then in high school I cheered all 4 years, and I was on the football, basketball, and both of our competition teams. So we had two different types of competition teams. We had your traditional one, which is jumps, tumbling, baskets, stunt sequence, pyramid, and a dance, and then game day competition team, which was newer at the time. It's a cheer, chant, fight song, and band dance. I personally thought that the game day was just more challenging because you have to consistently have energy, and the biggest thing is appealing to the crowd while also doing these challenging stunts. And so the first thing I'll be talking about is the definition of an athlete. So according to Google, an athlete is a person who is proficient in sports and other forms of physical exercise. So here's an excerpt from one of my resources, and it says that the Women's Sports Foundation states that most sports require different kinds of physical abilities in order to participate in them. Some reward strength, others speed, others value the ability to make the performance of great physical feats look natural and easy, and some require excellent hand-eye coordination. Aesthetic sports, such as cheerleading, are a combination of all these traits. So cheerleading is also constrained to a certain amount of time. It's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds to do all of these challenging activities, physical activity, tumbling, jumping, stunting. And then I'll be talking about some stereotypes of cheerleading. So the first one that's really big is sexism. So a lot of times people think cheerleading is just women supporting boys when the boys are out there competing in the real sport, when that's not the case at all. Cheerleading is a sport, and it should be considered as a sport. And then a lot of times when men join cheerleading, they get thought of as less. They're also not participating in a real sport, but really that's not the case at all either. In one of my resources, there's this guy that talks about how he joined cheerleading after doing wrestling, and at the time he thought wrestling was the hardest sport he's ever done, but then he joined cheerleading and realized how hard cheerleading is and how challenging it is. And then one of my friends from high school, he did football all 4 years of high school, and then decided to do cheerleading in college, and was also said it's one of the hardest things he's ever done. So another stereotype within cheerleading is all cheerleaders are dumb blondes, because movies and shows have created these stereotypes for how cheerleaders should look or cheerleaders should act, and that's not the case at all. Most of the cheerleaders I know are some of the smartest people I know, some of the most athletic people I know, and that's just how it's the complete opposite of how movies and TV shows make cheerleaders out to be. And then another stereotype is that cheerleading is easy. It's not easy at all. Like any other sport, you have to train to be good at it. Mid-competition, people will have to run off the floor to throw up because they just can't do it anymore, or even right after competition, or people will pass out too. It's exhausting, and it's an endurance sport, so it is very challenging. And then another stereotype is that everybody goes to nationals. So I heard this a lot in high school when my team went to nationals. Every cheerleading team wins nationals. That's not the case at all either. So just like any other sport, there's different divisions in cheerleading. We have all-girl and co-ed cheerleading, and then the divisions will be based on how many people go to your school too, and then if your school's D1, D2, and all of that, and also how many people on your team specifically. So, yeah. And then I'll be talking about Title IX briefly. So one of my resources, there's a Title IX story. So the NCAA currently does not consider cheerleading a sport, So one university elevated the status of its cheerleading team to a varsity sport after they canceled its women's volleyball program in 2009. And the volleyball team then sued the school, claiming that redirecting the funds meant for women's sports to cheerleading violated Title IX. And the judge agreed with the volleyball team, noting that in the future, cheerleading may be a sport, but it was too disorganized and underdeveloped to have that designation currently. So I think cheerleading is very up and coming, and in the future will be recognized as a sport from the NCAA, but I think right now there's just a lot of stereotypes that cheerleading still faces with people who aren't super educated about cheerleading. They have bias towards cheerleading with their knowledge from before. So yeah, thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I got this slideshow presentation template from Slidesco, and then here are some of my resources. So thank you.